Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.
And we lost a lot of money. But the learnings that you take away from there are so tremendous that I think that everybody should give it a shot.
Hi guys, we are in the middle of the corona attack and we are all isolated at home, but that is no reason to not be doing the interviews. There are two benefits of us doing interviews from home. One is that you guys will continue to keep getting content around your careers and figure out what you can be doing right now to build your careers. And for us, the benefit is that we could be sitting in boxers and you will never know. So we don't really need to dress up for these interviews. So that's awesome. Today, I have a very, very dear friend with me here, Rahul Gadi. Really appreciate you doing this with us. Rahul is a batchmate from Mica. Over the last 10 years, he's worked at some of the top companies in the country, right from VIP to Birla Sun Life Insurance to Times of India, and now he works at Zomato. Rahul, I remember you when you came to Mica, we were these two kids who started our CA and we didn't finish. I wanted to know a little bit more about that. As a young kid in Calcutta, why did you start doing your CA, and then when did you decide that okay, chartered accountancy is not something that I want to do?
In retrospect, it seems very clear that you know what, I'll be good at this. I'll be able to understand. I have an eye for this. But at that moment, at that point in time, it is not so clear. Everything is a bit of a bet. So you look at your options, you evaluate your options. I said, okay, you know what, I can do CA. I might even clear it. But is it something that really interests me? Am I happy to get up and study this? If I had to do this we had that articleship sort of thing happening. I did that for a month or two. I realized that, you know what, this is not something that interests me at all. I find it so boring. And like I said, even cat I gave twice. So at that time, I wasn't so worried whether, I waste a year or whatever. But I wanted to be sure that what I do is something that I can live with, something that I find interesting. And that's why I chose to do marketing, because once you're a commerce graduate, you don't have a lot of options, or at least at that point of time, you weren't aware of so many options.
So how did Mica happen, Rahul?
So I gave CAT a second time. I got a pretty similar-ish percentile. And yeah, I got some other calls this time around from IMT. But then I realized that Mica has its own niche. So I said, okay, I'll go and give all the interviews and let's see what converts. And when it converted, by the time that happened, there was no doubt in my mind that I wanted to join Mica.
But can you tell us quickly what were some of the very tangible and also intangible things that you gained from your 2 years at Mica?
Everybody thinks that, hey, what you learn in school is not going to be applicable in real life. But I think what we learned at Mica was applicable in real life. There were some outstanding courses that we did. We did a course in strategy with VN Bhattacharya. I think I'll always remember that course. It was fantastic. There was a brand science course we did. That was fantastic. So there were some really, really outstanding cases. I'm sure everybody has heard of AF Matthew. So from a standpoint of classroom learning, yes, it did. It teaches you a lot of what your regular sort of education does not teach you.
During Mica, I remember in the second year you took up mess committee, which is not a very popular thing that people take up, but it was somewhere aligned to what you are passionate about. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Why I wanted to take up the mess committee is because I hate eating bad food. Okay. And the first year in Mica, we were there. I mean, everybody lived in a hostel. Mess food is bad. Mess food is bad. But you know what struck me? It struck me that you can opt out of anything at Mica. Mica gave you that freedom. The only thing that you could not opt out of was eating the mess food. Everybody said, you know why? The mess food is bad because it's cheap. But that wasn't true. And I could see that. I could see that you could make some changes without increasing the cost of the food, and the food would be better. And that's what happened. And that's what led me there to say, you know what, this is something I'm passionate about. And at that time, I wasn't so clear as to whether I was passionate about or not. But I said, you know what, this is one place I can make a difference, and the difference will matter to a lot of people.
What were some of the things that hit you in your face? Like, man, I have to do these things. How am I going to manage it? How was that first year out of Mica like?
So VIP, actually, I'll tell you what the structure was, so that will help. We had a MT program, which was divided into 4 parts. So you stayed in each city for 3 months at a time. That's what it was built as. What it tells you is, it tells you about the width of this country, of course, because you go to so many different places like Chandigarh and Hyderabad, they're very little in common from a
Right.
environment, the way people behave, etc., point of view. But the biggest challenge in doing a job straight out is that you realize that again, this country has so much width, and people want so many different things, and people have so many different ideas, and you have to find a way to cater to all of them. This was the first time in my life I had a boss. So you realize that, hey, you know what? You have to manage your boss. That's a very important thing in the professional world. And it's probably the most important thing that you do. So it's also a bit of an upheaval sort of time because you're moving city to city to city. So on a personal front, it's very difficult because you are just going, trying to find a place, trying to settle in, and then you're going somewhere else again. But the learning it provides you is tremendous. So I mean, in retrospect, I think everybody should have a 1 year period where they travel across the country to see what is happening in all parts of this country.
From VIP, you went to a couple more places at BSLI, and then you were at TOI. So tell us how that journey has been. What were some of the things that you picked up along the way?
So, when you enter a VIP store, there are so many pieces of luggage. How do you decide which one fits you the most? But a very important and obvious thing we were able to do over there was to say how X bag is different from Y bag and different from the bag available outside the store. So there were 110 VIP owned retail stores. So it was important to tell the consumer that, hey, you know what? Elantra is different from, PQR product because it has these 2 extra zippers. That was the way we were going about it first. Later, we started saying that, you know what? These 2 extra zippers are actually for your socks. So that made a lot more sense than saying, you know what? This bag has 2 extra zippers. In terms of marketing, what I learned was that getting the right message out is very, very important. You need to understand what does the consumer want to hear, and then understand how your product offers that particular thing, and communicate that exact same message to the consumer. You can't go round and round and say, you know what, this is a product feature. The customer doesn't care about your product feature at all. He just wants to know how it fits his life very well. And he already has some sort of pre-made idea about it. What you need to do is to find a way to communicate that to him.
Rahul, one thing that is actually that I feel you've gained a lot more from than your work stints has been the business that you ran on the side while you were working at these places. So you started an ice cream shop, I believe, in Mahim, right? Can you tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about that? Why did you start it, and what was that experience like, and what did you learn from it?
So I said, you know what, I want to do something on my own because I want to be rich. Point number one. Point number two, I want to do something that doesn't feel like work. So then I said, and it took me, months to come up with this answer. He said, what have I ever done in my life that I have actually enjoyed and has not felt like work? And then I realized that the thing was running the mess at Mica. So I said, hey, you know what? Food and serving it is what I enjoy. And that's where the idea of the ice cream shop came from. That, you know what? I want to serve food to people and see them enjoy it. And so I said, okay, you know what? I didn't have or at least at that time, I felt I didn't have the option of quitting a job to run a business on my own because I'm not from Bombay. I had to pay rent, etc., etc. I didn't have capital, etc., etc., etc. So I said, okay, what is a food business that I can run while still keeping my job? Which is when I said, okay, I can run a dessert parlor from where I reached an ice cream shop. So that's how it started.
Okay, so tell me quickly, what were your 3 top learnings from your experience running that shop, often remotely, because you would be working in the office and the shop must be running.
Learning number one, do not take stress. Things will work themselves out. You will always find stressful situations, and this place caused me a lot of stress. If you are selling a product and you think you are selling the product and you know the product well because you are the customer of the product, believe me, you are wrong. Because while you might be one of the customers of your product might have multiple different types of customers There will be 10 different types of customers. You need to make your product in a way such that it caters to all different 10 types of customers. Else you will be left catering to customers only like yourself, which might be a very narrow market. I had a partner on this thing called Pankaj. He's in Dubai right now.
He's also a
So,
Mica batchmate, right?
he's also a batchmate. So what we thought was that, hey, you know what? And this was 2013. We said, you know what? People can spend 100 rupees on dessert. What's the big deal? It's cheap. 100 bucks is not a lot of money. So we opened an ice cream store that had its lowest ice cream price at some 35-40. And the large cup went up to, I think, 120 bucks. And we said, you know what? This is cheap. This is cheap. We realized over time, it took us almost a year to realize that what we thought of as cheap, Mahim thought of as super duper expensive. You need to realize what sort of market you operate in and what sort of product the people want in that market. So once we solved for that, we found that, hey, a family of 5 can actually eat 10 cups of ice cream. Forget 5, rather than the one that they were eating earlier. So then this store we started in November 2013. We, like I said, we didn't get the product mix and the pricing right. We tried lots and lots of variations. We tried selling patties, we tried selling burgers, we changed the ice cream that we were selling. And in the end, we realized that, you know what, this is not working out for us. Because while it had its highs and its lows, the lows were more common than the highs. So we realized this is not going to be profitable. So then in November 2015, we shut our store. And he said, okay, you win some, you lose some, and let's move on from here. But I just think that it was by far, and I'm saying this today, 10 years later, the amount I learned in those 2 years, nothing else has taught me. Because you know what, the buck stops at you. That's the difference between a job and a business that you run. In a job, you can always say, you know what, this did not happen. What is the repercussion? The repercussions are very small. Or you can say, you know what, I don't know how to figure out. You go to your boss. He has to figure it out. He can't figure it out. It's his boss's headache. The buck doesn't stop at you as clearly as it does when you work for yourself. I mean, you make a wrong decision, you lose money. So, and we lost a lot of money. But the learnings that you take away from there are so tremendous that I think that everybody should give it a shot. There are some people who do order 3 meals a day from outside, and I'm sure there are lots and lots and lots of customers who do the same. So yeah, these people in the future will be the parents who tell their children as well, hey, eat all the meals outside.